We now continue with the rest of our stories, and he promised a better Ghana. He gave an order to stop the payment of Woyome's judgment debts and paid a surprise visit to the Tema port to affirm his commitment to the fight against corruption.
But did the president, late Atta Mills, live to see the better Ghana he promised? 4 years after his death, is his legacy on?
The health of the nation is the wealth of the nation.
Today, Thursday, July 21, would have marked his 72nd birthday if he were alive. But 4 years after his death, some say there is little left to be told of the late Professor Mills. Here's a flashback of some of the values that the late professor stood for.
In what organization will it take you 3 years to build? And it is not the exception. It is the rule. There are some who don't want the reds. You want the blue. You want the pink. You will collect the green and the other colors.
Known as the Sunjohene, Professor Mills left a legacy of integrity and humility. He also had a great sense of humor.
When you are pronouncing such figures in billions, I didn't even know how to translate them into OPPPP.
Sunday, July 24 will mark exactly 4 years of his demise, and former communications director under his leadership, Kokwa Nidoho, says Professor Mills is unforgettable.
Like him or dislike him, certainly nobody can forget him. And for some of us, of course, we miss him dearly, and we pray and we believe that his soul is resting perfectly in peace wherever he is. Yeah.
He described him as a God-fearing leader who was underestimated by many, especially his political opponents.
I recall, moments where some of his former students would go on air and use very unpalatable words and describe him in very derogatory language. And it's like, okay, when I was lecturing them, did I come across as an idiot?
The Mills story, he said, is worth telling.
I've done some 8 chapters, and so yes, I intend to finish that book as a personal account of my relationship with President Mills and tell a few stories that have not been told, and it will be very interesting.
The Sundre Park now sees low patronage. We were told, apart from school pupils, public interest has not been encouraging. One of his many nicknames was Professor Doolittle. But 4 years after his death, how much have we done as a nation in upholding the values he stood for?
Professor Atta Mills had a lot of wonderful ideas. Schools under tree, he had a plan to get rid of all this. He had a plan to address the electricity challenges. But looking back at this past 4 years, I think many Ghanaians will conclude that things have not really been accomplished.
Dr. Bosman Asari said the late President Mills will certainly be upset in his grave on how issues of corruption are being handled.
If he has the ability to see what is happening now, I think he will be very, very sad. To say the least, may be extremely sad. The fourth gift issue is a clear example of something which is unacceptable in public management, and I'm very sure Professor Mills will equally condemn that.
It is the hope of many that the unity shown during his death will reflect during and after the elections.